John chapter 11, verse 25 through 37. Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, though he were dead, yet he shall live. And whoever lives and believes in me shall never die. Do you believe this? She said to him, Yes, Lord, I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God, which should come into the world. And when she had so said, she went her way and called Mary her sister secretly, saying, The Master is come, and he's calling for you. As soon as she, Mary, heard that, she rose up quickly and came to him. Now Jesus was not yet come into the town, but was in that place where Martha met him. The Jews then, which were with her in the house, and comforted her, when they saw Mary, that she rose up hastily and went out, followed her, saying, She's going to the grave to weep there. Then when Mary was come to where Jesus was, and saw him, she fell down at his feet, saying to him, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. When Jesus therefore saw her weeping, and the Jews also weeping, which came with her, he groaned in the spirit, and was troubled. And he said, Where have you laid him? And they said to him, Lord, come and see. Jesus wept. Then said the Jews, See how he loved him. And some of them said, Couldn't this man, who opened the eyes of the blind, have caused that even this man, Lazarus, should not have died? I want to talk to you for just a couple of minutes about some possible reasons for Jesus' tears. Number one, perhaps he wept because of what sin had done to the world. Sin, of course, was the thing that brought death and sorrow. If it weren't for sin, Lazarus wouldn't have been sick, Lazarus wouldn't have died, and his friends and family members and neighbors would not have been sad. We don't know exactly why Jesus wept. There is a clue in the text, and I'll get to that, but we don't know for sure why Jesus wept. Perhaps it was because of what sin had done to the world. We know that sin grieves the heart of God. Or, number two, perhaps he wept because he was bringing someone that he loved back to a cursed world. And Jesus had been through this, by the way. Jesus was the Son of Man from glory, from heaven, coming to earth. So even though Lazarus was not in heaven, he was in paradise. He was in a place of peace. He was in a place of blessedness. And Jesus was going to call him back into this world, a place of sorrow and sadness. So maybe he wept because he was bringing someone that he loved back into a cursed world, and he was familiar with that transition. Or number three, perhaps he wept for the sadness of those who were weeping. That seems to be the indication of the text. It says, When therefore, verse 33, he saw her weeping, and the Jews also weeping, which came with her, he groaned in his spirit and was troubled, and said, Where did you lay him? They said, Come and see. And then John 11:35, Jesus wept. So perhaps he wept for the sadness of those who were weeping. This is actually, of course, something that is commanded elsewhere in the Bible. Rejoice with those who do rejoice, and weep with those who weep. There is a time to mourn, Solomon said in the book of Ecclesiastes, and this was an appropriate time for mourning. So maybe he wept for their sadness. And there's a couple other possibilities. I actually got these from Henry Clakeley when we went through this lesson together earlier this year or late last year, whenever it was that we went through this before. Other possibilities of why he wept. Perhaps he wept for their lack of faith. That was something that, of course, grieved Christ. He marveled when he found people who trusted him greatly, and he also marveled when people doubted him greatly. And it was a great disappointment, a great sadness that would come over him when people would not trust him. So perhaps he wept for their lack of faith. And another possibility is perhaps he wept for his own coming suffering. as they removed the stone from the door of the tomb where Lazarus was laying. Perhaps Jesus looked forward to his own suffering, and that was part of the groaning in his spirit and the reason for his tears. We don't know for sure, but ultimately, you know what? It doesn't even matter. The truth is, I am touched, I am blessed, I'm encouraged, and I'm challenged by Jesus' tears. Here's a man who has all power. He can do anything. If it was me standing there beside Lazarus' tomb with the kind of power that Jesus had and everybody started weeping, I wouldn't weep with them. That wouldn't be my natural tendency. I would say, hey, it's going to be all right. Everybody calm down. I'm going to fix this. I'm about to bring Lazarus out of the grave. And I wouldn't be sad. I would just go ahead and get her done so everybody could get over their tears. Well, I guess they'd probably be crying tears of happiness then, but you get my point. But the fact that Jesus wept, that he felt their pain, that he felt pain, that he felt sorrow, that he could identify and sympathize with the sorrows of those around him means so much to me. Our Savior, our great high priest, Jesus Christ, is touched by our feelings. That brings great comfort and great reassurance to me.